Hey guys, Carl from Purple Misplaced. Today I'm taking a look at the Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring trick-taking game. Bit of a mouthful there, but this is a trick-taking game designed by Brian Bornmueller and published by Office Dog Games. More particularly, this is a cooperative trick-taking game set in the world of The Lord of the Rings, or specifically the first book, The Fellowship of the Rings, that plays out over a series of 18 chapters, with each chapter sort of adding twists and changes to the core rules of the game. But basically in each of these chapters, you will be taking on the roles of different characters from the story, and each character is going to have a unique goal that they need to sort of fulfill through a trick-taking game. And then it's sort of by the end of each game, all of the characters being used in that game will have had to sort of fulfill those goals in order to win the game. No real disclaimer needed on this one because this is not a review copy of the game, but I should point out here that my channel, if you don't know, is sponsored by a company called Noble Knight Games. They are a brick and mortar game store in Wisconsin that also has an amazing online presence, really great catalog of rare and hard to find board games, tabletop role-playing games, war games, what have you. Really great trade-in program. But as part of their sponsorship of my channel, I get a small credit to their online store every month, and I did use some of that credit to pick up this game and other games that I do hope to show off on this channel. So I do want to point out that this game is somewhat unofficially, but my channel is very officially sponsored by Noble Knight Games. With that disclaimer out of the way, let's head down to the table to see how the solo mode in this one plays, and then I'll meet you back up here to let you know what I think. All right, before I get started, I want to point out here up front that I am going to be playing 2 playthroughs of this game, starting with Chapter 1 to avoid any spoilers so you can see first how the game plays in general as a solo game. But then there are sort of 2 different kinds of scenarios in this game, short games and long games, and I want to show you sort of what the long game is and show you a later chapter so you can get some idea of how things change up and what gets added to the game. If you don't want to see any extra spoilers, feel free to skip the second playthrough. But if you would like to see a small twist on the game and see what the long scenarios look like in sort of relation to the short scenarios, stick around for both of those playthroughs. So with that said, let's go ahead and get started by setting up Chapter 1 of Fellowship of the Rings, the trick-taking game played solo. And to do that, we're going to start first by drawing the chapter card. So we are starting here with Chapter 1. It says, Chapter 1. When Mr. Bilbo Baggins of Bag End announced that he would shortly be celebrating his 11st birthday with a party of special magnificence, there was much talk and excitement in Hobbiton. So turning that over, we see Chapter 1, a long-expected party. Now first here you'll see it shows characters Frodo, Bilbo, Gandalf, and Pippin. Victory, short, finish, all chosen characters. So here we go what I said about short before. You will see the next chapter I play will be a long chapter. But first things first, I'm going to put this down and I'm going to take out the characters as shown on that card. So just placing that there. And then placing out the characters Frodo, Gandalf, Bilbo, and Pippin out onto the table. And actually that should be Frodo, Bilbo, Gandalf, and Pippin. And you'll see that Frodo and Bilbo have stars on them. I'm going to mark those 2 cards as starred characters. What that means is they will need to be used when playing through this chapter. Now a solo game sort of mimics a 4-player game, so I will actually be using all 4 of them. But if I was playing, say for example, a 3-player game, I would only be playing with 3 of these characters, but 2 of them would have to be Frodo and Bilbo. But in this case, again, I will be playing with all of them. Now, I'm going to sort of walk you through vaguely how the setup works, teach you a little bit about trick-taking if you don't know what trick-taking is, teach you sort of how the game plays, but I'm going to be sort of making decisions that may or may not make sense until after you've understood how the game plays. So sort of bear with me as I set up things, and I'll sort of come back and explain things later if necessary. But the way that setup works for a solo game is we are going to start by building 4 hands. And one hand will always contain the 1 ring card. So I'm going to put that over here in a hand, and then I'm going to deal out 4 hands of cards, randomly shuffling the deck, 4 hands of 4 cards. But before I do that, I will be removing 1 card as what is called the lost card, and that'll get placed right up here at the top of the screen, and I'll explain what that is in just a minute. But then dealing out 4 hands of 4 cards, and then placing the remaining cards just up here to be used later in gameplay. Now you will notice in these cards that there are 5 different suits in the game, and luckily they all got dealt out. Those suits are shadow cards, forest cards, mountain cards, ring cards, and hills cards. The hills, mountains, forests, and shadows range in value from 1 to 8, and the ring cards range in value from 1 to 5. I'll explain why that's important in just a minute, but the next thing we need to do is assign characters to each of these decks. And Frodo will always be placed on the deck that, actually let's put him down below it like this. Frodo will always be placed on the deck that starts with the 1 ring card. And I'm going to set that extra token off to the side. Those will be used later. I've got 2 more of them as well to mark off when each character's goals have been fulfilled, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's continue placing out the characters. And actually thinking about it, I'm not getting ahead of myself because the way that I should be assigning characters is based on sort of special setup that's going to happen, but more importantly, based on the goals of each of the characters for that playthrough. And Frodo's goal in the solo game, and this is actually on the wrong side, it should be set to the 3-player side, in a solo game, is that it says here, the player dealt the 1 ring is Frodo. I can't exchange the 1 ring. We'll talk about that in a second, but first right here, Frodo has to win 4 or more ring cards before the end of the game in the tricks won by Frodo. And I'll explain how tricks are won in a little bit, but first just let me put him down like that so that we know what needs to happen. So then the other 3 characters we need to place out are Pippin, Gandalf, and Bilbo. Pippin says he needs to win the fewest tricks or tie for the fewest tricks. So I need to make sure he's got a weak hand of cards. And also, it says here he's going to exchange a card during setup with Frodo, Sam, or Merry. Well, there is no Sam or Merry, so he would have to exchange with Frodo. Except that there's a small change to the rules in solo mode, and that is, of all of the exchange setup actions in the game or in that play, you only select one of them to activate in a solo mode. So if I chose to activate that, Pippin would switch 1 card with Frodo. Next we have Gandalf the Grey Wizard, which says first, during setup, he's going to get that lost card that we dealt into his hand. So he will have a hand of 5 cards instead of 4, and then exchange with Frodo if I choose that to be the one exchange in this mode. And then he has to win 1 or more tricks. So that's pretty easy. I could give him a very strong hand and let him take lots of tricks if possible. And then finally Bilbo, I'm just going to set this aside because I have to use Bilbo anyway. Bilbo has no special setup, but he must win 3 or more tricks. So I need to give Bilbo the strongest hand. Gandalf's hand could be strong or weak, depending, as long as he can win 1. And Pippin doesn't even need to win a single hand. He just can't have any more tricks than other people. Now looking at these hands, everybody needs to exchange with Frodo, or either Gandalf or Pippin is going to exchange with Frodo. And I think then that I want Bilbo to be, yeah. I'm going to put Bilbo over here. I'm going to put Pippin over here. And I'm going to put Gandalf right here. And you'll see why in just a minute, but now we start from Frodo going to the left, activating each setup. So Frodo doesn't have special setup except that he had to be placed in the hand with the 1 ring. Now Gandalf takes the lost card into his hand and can exchange with Frodo, but I'm going to choose to actually do the exchange with Pippin instead. Pippin says exchange with Frodo. I'm going to give Frodo the 5 ring because Frodo needs to win rings. And I'll give back a 3 forest like that to Pippin. And then Bilbo has no special setup. So like that, we are all set up for gameplay. Now, the way that this game plays out, well, first off, it is a trick-taking game. We will be starting with Frodo as our starting player. I'm going to give him this this ring token, gray side up, which means rings haven't been activated yet. I'll explain what that means a little bit later. But then what's going to happen is each turn, whoever has that token will be playing a card. And the way that a trick-taking game works is that player can play any card, except at the start of each game, they cannot play a ring card as that lead or starting card. And then once a card has been played, all of the other players must play in order a card from their hand matching the suit of that lead card, if possible. If they are not able to play a card matching that suit because they don't have one, they can then instead play any card they choose. After all 4 people have played cards, or after all 4 hands have played a card, whoever has played the card of the matching suit of the lead card, whoever has the highest value matching that suit, will win that trick, taking all of those cards. If you've played a card, or if that character has played a card of a non-matching suit because they did not have a matching card, that card will never win the trick, so they will automatically lose. So that is a good way to get rid of high cards, by playing non-suited cards. The only card that breaks the rules of the game is this one ring card, and it's not a requirement but a possibility, but the one ring card can be activated to win any hand of cards that it's played into, if chosen to do so. Now, you do still need to follow the rules of how that card gets played, meaning if somebody played a mountain, Frodo would have to play the mountain card, even though he would like to play the One Ring. But for example, in this case, if someone played a forest card as the lead card, Frodo has no forests, he could then play the One Ring as his card, and because he had then played One Ring, he could choose to make that the winning card and win that trick. Now, I did say that the ring cards cannot be led at the beginning of the game. As soon as a ring card is played as a non-suited card, means on a turn when something else was the lead card, this will then flip over, and from that point on in that game, ring cards can then be played as the lead card as well. Now, the trick in the solo game is after every trick has been played, means one card from each hand, the trick is cleared, then one additional card will be drawn into each hand, and we will continue playing until all cards have been played. And again, by the end of all cards having been played and all tricks having been taken, Frodo needs to have at least 4 rings in the tricks that he's taken. Gandalf needs to win at least 1 trick. Pippin has to have the fewest tricks won, and Bilbo has to have won at least 3 tricks. So let's go ahead and get into gameplay, and hopefully, if that is confusing, it makes more sense as we get into, sort of deeper into gameplay. So first things first, Frodo plays the 5 of Shadows. Doing so, Gandalf plays the 3 of Shadows. Pippin, I don't want him to win, so I'm going to get rid of that 7 because I see that Bilbo will be playing the 8 of Shadows. Means Bilbo wins that trick, having played the highest matching suited card. I'll place that there next to Bilbo to see we've got one. Trick 1, then we deal 1 additional card into each hand, and that worked out very nicely. Because doing that, Bilbo can then play the 5 of Forests. Frodo plays the 1. Gandalf can play whatever he chooses to play. In this case, I want Gandalf to be able to win tricks. So I'm going to play the 1 Mountains. Pippin, I don't want them to win. But they do have a forest, so they must play the forests. Highest suited card is the 5, so Bilbo wins his second trick, dealing out 1 card to each hand again, like that. All right. Whoops, I should have passed that. Bilbo is still leading. Rings have not been started yet. And, Bilbo's not going to be able to win anything, so I think this may be where we mix things up a little bit. I'm going to have him play this forest, because Frodo will then play the 1 ring. Gandalf has no forest, so he's going to play the 4 ring. And Pippin, let's get rid of something big, is that 5. Now, Frodo chooses to win with the 1 ring card. He now has 2 rings, 1 in his hand. We deal out some more cards. I do need Bilbo to win 1 more time, which is possible now with this 7 Forest, probably. But now rings have also been played, so I will flip that. And yes, let's take advantage of that. Frodo will play the 6 because he is now leading. Gandalf has no forests. Let's play something low. 2 of hills. Pippin must play a forest. Bilbo must play a forest. Highest card matching is 7. That is Bilbo's 3rd trick 1. So I will mark Bilbo as having completed their goal. Dealing out 4 more cards. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now because this ring has been played, Bilbo can play this 2 ring, which is going to work perfectly because Frodo plays the 5 ring. Gandalf plays the 3 ring. Pippin has no ring, so he can get rid of that horrible 8 mountain. Bilbo takes that. He now has 4 or more rings, which ends that there. Drawing out our last card of this game, like that. How we got here, I want Bilbo to lose because Gandalf needs to win something. And we can easily do that by playing this 6 mountain, 7 mountains, 5 mountains, 2. The 7 takes it. So Gandalf has completed his 1 trick or more. And so long as Pippin doesn't win more than 1 trick, which isn't going to happen, we're okay. So Gandalf will play out 6 of shadows, 2 shadow, 1 shadow. Frodo plays the 4. Gandalf takes that card again. Then, yeah, we're good. Gandalf plays the 7 hills, 3 hill, 6 hill, 8 hill. Frodo wins that one. And then Frodo leads with the 1 hill, which is fine because Gandalf is going to win that hand. And like that, we have successfully finished chapter 1. Now, if you'd like to not see any more spoilers, please use the timestamp down below to jump ahead to my final thoughts. But I am going to jump ahead to chapter 9. Chapter 9 is the first chapter that uses the long victory condition or the long scenario, so I'd like to show that off. It also gives me the opportunity to show off some other new mechanisms in the game. So let me go ahead and shuffle everything up, clear off everything, and reset for chapter 9. All right, so let's start up our new chapter, chapter 9, which says, with his last failing senses, Frodo heard cries, and it seemed to him that he saw beyond the riders that hesitated on the shore a shining figure of white light, and behind it ran small shadowy forms waving flames that flared red in the gray mist that was falling over the world. So we flip over chapter 9, Flight to the Ford. So here you'll see characters Glorfindel, Frodo, Sam, Merry, Pippin, Strider, and Bill the Pony, which I'll set out in just a second. This new idea of threat says I'm using Black Riders 1 to 4. Victory says long, which is why I'm showing you this chapter. And then finally here it says we have to use Glorfindel each round. We're only using Frodo once. And then it says follow the instructions for Flight to the Ford event on the 9 card. So I'll show you what that means in just a second. But setting that up here, let me find the characters we're using first. So again, for this scenario, this chapter, we're using Glorfindel, Frodo, Sam, Merry, Pippin, Strider, and Bill the Pony. And it does say that Glorfindel must be used each round. And the reason it says each round here is because this is a long chapter. And a long chapter means I need to play as many games as I need to in order to accomplish the goal of every character in this sort of available group of characters. And I say as many as I need to because each round I'm going to choose 4 as normal. And in order to win the round, I need to complete all 4 of those goals. But I could play as many rounds as I want to. So I could play with these 4 characters, and then next time swap out Merry and Pippin and play with those 4 characters, and then again playing with those 4 characters, and so on. But every time I play, I need to complete all 4 goals. So realistically, I could possibly beat this in 2 rounds, playing, say, with these 4 characters first, removing those 3 because I've then fulfilled them, and playing with Glorfindel and these 3 characters in my second round. And if I did that, I will have completed all of the characters' goals, which means I did then complete the game. And it does say use Frodo just once, which means I cannot use him in more than one round, but anybody else could potentially be brought back in. Now for this playthrough, we are also using this threat deck, which is 4 Black Rider cards, 1 through 4 value. I'm going to shuffle those up because you'll see in just a minute that some of the goals this time will depend on sort of what Black Rider card is drawn on that turn, or for that character during setup. And you'll again see that in just a minute. But in addition to that, before I show you all the characters and what they can do, I also want to show you that we are required to use, for this chapter, another event. So we've got a little bit more story. The 9 says, there were 9 riders at the water's edge below, and Frodo's spirit quailed before the threat of their uplifted faces. He knew of nothing that would prevent them from crossing as easily as he had done, and he felt that it was useless to try to escape over the long, uncertain path from the ford to the edge of Rivendell, if once the riders crossed. So we are using this event, Flight to the Ford, and it says, when choosing characters, I have to take the associated Black Rider card. So we're going to give Frodo the Witch King, Merry Black Breath, Pippin the Wraith, Strider the Unseen, and Sam the Terror. So let me go ahead and put that out, and let's do that. So Frodo gets the Witch King, which is an additional card that gets added to Frodo and says the Witch King Morgul Knife says I cannot lead with rings cards, and if I'm forced to lead with a rings card, I lose the round. So that's sort of an additional condition that Frodo has when playing this time. Then Merry gets Black Breath, which says that Merry cannot win any rank 8 cards. So put that on Merry. And then it says Pippin gets the Wraith. And the Wraith says here that you cannot exchange or be exchanged with. And that goes to Pippin. Strider receives the Unseen, except it says here that the Unseen will make my threat card be kept face down and secret until completing my goal. Well, nothing can be face down and secret because in the solo game, I need to know all of the information. So this card will actually not be used in the solo playthrough of the game. And then finally, Sam receives the Terror, which says that you cannot lead with Hills cards. If you're forced to lead with a Hills card, you lose the round. And you'll see that this is actually pretty bad for Sam, and you'll see why in just a minute. But let's go through the different goals of the cards. You've already seen Frodo and Pippin. Frodo still needs to win 4 or more rings cards, except now he cannot lead with rings cards, which is going to make things a little bit extra tricky. Pippin you've seen before win the fewest tricks or tie for the fewest tricks, except now he can't be exchanged with. So if he gets something big in his hand, I can't fix that before I play. But let's look at the new characters. Glorfindel says during setup, I'm going to add a lost card to their hand, and then they exchange with every character simultaneously. It also says that Glorfindel leads the first trick, which it does show on Frodo as well, but according to the special rules in the book, that Glorfindel card trumps Frodo, so Glorfindel will always be the first character to play. And they need to, in order to win their goal or complete their goal, win every shadow card 1 through 8. So they have to get the entire set of shadow cards. Frodo we've seen. Sam says, during setup he's going to draw a threat card. Remember, that's valued 1 through 4. And then he has to exchange with Frodo, Merry, or Pippin. But then it says win a specific Hills card based on the threat card. So whatever value that is, 1, 2, 3, or 4, he needs to win the Hills card matching that value in a trick. Except now, based on this event that's happening, he can't lead with Hills cards. So he's going to have to find a way to win the Hills card without playing, or at least not starting, the Hills cards. Merry has to win 1 or 2 tricks, and during setup will exchange with Frodo, Sam, or Pippin. Pippin we've seen before. Strider, during setup, also draws a threat card and exchanges with Frodo. But his goal is to win more or fewer tricks than the value of the threat card drawn, and he has to choose more or fewer at the start of that game, or at that start of that round. And finally, Bill the Pony must win exactly 1 trick, no more, no less. and we'll exchange one card with Sam and one card with Frodo at the same time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw out those 4 hands, starting with the One Ring like we did before, and drawing out 4 hands of 4 cards. And after having done that, well, plus the lost card, of course, after having done that, I will be assigning 4 of these characters, one of which has to be Glorfindel. All right, so here are the hands that we're starting with. And I must choose Glorfindel for one of those hands, for sure. But then also, if I choose Frodo, Frodo must come here. If I don't choose Frodo, because remember I'm playing 2 rounds and he's only being chosen once, anybody can come here, but I have to choose the character for this deck first. Although the order doesn't really matter if I'm choosing them anyway. I have to choose any character to go here. And remember, Glorfindel will be going first and has to get all of the Shadows cards. So I could put them here with that 8 there already. Problem is that 3 is pretty weak. But then Glorfindel does exchange with every other character. But I could say, for example, put Glorfindel here and swap that 4 for that 8. May also not be a bad idea. I also see that this hand has a high Hills card. Not an 8, but pretty high. So I think I might play this hand with Sam. It's not great, but it's not horrible. If I play that hand with Sam, I want to make sure this is fewest tricks, this is 1 or 2 tricks, this is 1 trick, exactly. So I kind of want to not have all of them together. And I do want to put Frodo over here. So Glorfindel, then I think I will put here. And then Bill the Pony gets a trick. I'm going to put out Pippin. I might regret it, but I'm going to try that. Let's try that. It may hurt me, but these are going to go away for next round. So I'll just stick those up there for right now. Then following through with the things we need to follow through with. Frodo says, I'm going first, but I'm not anymore. Glorfindel actually will be. Can't exchange a ring card, or the 1 ring card, that's fine. Then, Glorfindel gets the lost card. And is going to be swapping things. So, I definitely want to swap this 4 for this 8. Hold on, no, Pippin can't be there. Let's put Bill the Pony there instead. Pippin can't be there because I need to swap that card and Pippin can't swap. So we'll do that. Yeah. Bill's going to have to win a trick, but we'll see what happens. Then, doesn't really matter with Frodo. I guess I'll swap this 1 and this 3. And Sam can take this mountain, trading this forest. Okay, so those cards all go back into hands. Like that, and we are set up to play almost. Because we still need to continue setting up there. Sam says draw a threat card. So Sam is going to take one of these at random. If it's a 2, that's amazing. It is the 2. That is amazing. All right, so Sam needs to win the 2, which already is there, 7-2. Well, we'll see how that plays out. Bill does nothing. Says exchange a card. Sam also said exchange a card, but remember in solo I only exchanged once, so that is all set up, and we are ready to play. And then that lovely jump you just saw right now is because I already broke the rules without paying attention. I led with this 7 hills for Sam, only then to realize that Sam's condition or event card does not allow him to do that, so I have reset these cards back to the way they were. Sorry for the random jump. And I will be paying more attention to those event rules. This card deck has been reshuffled, so it will be different than what I saw in the part of the video that you didn't get to see, since you didn't get to see my mistakes. But anyway, let's go into the play. All right, then. Sam does need to get that 2, but Sam can't play that 2. Somebody else has to have a hill to start a hills. So I am gonna actually start by playing this. Nope. Just the 6 is good enough. I want to save the 8 in case the 7 comes out. 6. Sam plays that 5. He may as well play the 4. Frodo must play the 1. That is already Glorfindel halfway done with that. Like that. Dealing out 4 new cards. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And this actually worked out perfectly well. Because what can happen now is that Glorfindel plays the 6 of forests. Sam will play the 8 of forests. Bill has no forests, so he can play that 2. And that means then that Frodo plays the 7, and Sam wins that hand, which does include the 2, so his goal has been completed. Dealing out cards again. Sam won that, so he's leading this time. Cannot lead hills, but that's okay. Whatever he plays then, he's going to win, which is fine. Oh, that's not true. Bilbo can win the 8. Yeah, let's do that. But Sam can't lead with hills, so no, that's not going to work. Oh, but Bilbo has the 8 mountains too. Sam leads with a 5 mountain, but that's a problem because then Bill can't play his ring like I wanted him to, but that's okay. We'll do that. Frodo's going to play the 8. Glorfindel can't play a shadow. Oh, can play a ring though. So Frodo takes that set with the 8 mountains, does get 1 ring. We're already working towards his goal. Plus, rings have now been broken, which is great as well. Dealing out cards, I'd love to see Frodo get a shadow card. But he does not, of course. I still need to figure out a way for Bill to win a card, and right now that's not looking great. But anyway, it's still my turn with Frodo. And I'm going to do it by playing the 8 of Hills. He has to play the 1. Sam doesn't really matter if he wins or loses, so let's play that 7. And Bill wants to get rid of a ring, I think. So I will give him that 4. Frodo takes his 2nd ring like that. Still Frodo's lead. Really hope he gets a shadow. Bill took the 5 ring. Come on, shadow. Nope. Good news is, though, that he's got a mountain. This plays out well. Frodo plays the 5 hills. I don't care Glorfindel plays the green 3 forests. Sam has to play a hill card. Bill still has no hill card. But Bill still needs to win something. And that's what I'm worried about. Bill plays the 3 of rings. So Frodo takes that for a 3rd ring. Bill needs a high card, or we lose. 3 of mountains is not gonna do it, Bill. Not gonna do it. Bill can't win, because there's only 5 rings, and Frodo needs 4 of them. Bill needs to win 1 trick, and there's no way to make it happen. Yeah, no, unfortunately, that's a loss. So I'm going to reset real quick. Keeping the same characters, using these new starting hands, let's go ahead and Frodo starts here with the 1 ring. Glorfindel takes a shadow card and now needs to swap with everyone, and I think that's going to be a good idea. I'm going to give this 4 mountain to Frodo and take this. Take this 6 card here. giving this 2 here, and this 3 here, taking back this mountain, and this 7. No. I'm okay with them having that. Taking back the 5 green, like that. And we go ahead back into things, again starting with Glorfindel. Glorfindel is going to start with this 8. Hold on, before that I need to finish setup. Exchanging doesn't happen. He needs a threat card, which this time is, oh, the 2 again. We don't see the 2 yet, so I'm not in a hurry for that to happen. He plays the 2, he plays the 7. And I'm gonna have Frodo play this 7 mountain because I'm trying to get Bill to be able to win with that 6 mountain. So that's 3 shadows already for Glorfindel. Playing out some more cards. Well, there's the 2, which actually works perfectly. Before any more big hills come out, Glorfindel plays that 2. Bill has nothing important. I don't want him to have high cards. That 6 goes away. Sam plays the 6 hill. Frodo has to play the 3 hill, and Sam takes his 2 like that. Good. Cards go back out. 1, 2, 3, and 4. That mountain ruins things a little bit. But not necessarily. That green ruins things a little bit. Well, anyway, Glorfindel plays the 6. I'm gonna play this 2 of Forest. He has to play a shadow. He has to play a shadow. And like that, Glorfindel gets 3 more shadows. So they're up to 6. 1, 7, 4, 5. That's not bad to see. Glorfindel either wants to lose mountains right now or win something else. Oh, this actually works. If I play the 1 and he plays the 6, hold on. No. I need to lose green right now. Yeah, but then he still has the mountain and he can't play the shadow. Anyway, we'll make it happen. He plays the 3. Oops. He plays the 1, he plays the 6, and he plays a 4. Then Bill wins that hand. And that is Bill's win. And that is Bill's only win, I hope. 1, 2, 2, 5. I do not like how many rings are going to Glorfindel. I don't like that Frodo has the hills. Bill's leading. Oh, that worked though. 2. He plays that 1. But he still has the mountain. Well, anyway, we're getting closer. I don't think that's gonna work. He gets to 8. He takes 1 more of those. Yeah, we don't have enough hands to do it. I only have 4 more hands. I don't think this is gonna work either. I can make Frodo win 2 rings right now, but that's just 2 rings. And then he can't possibly win any more. Actually, I can only make Frodo win 1 ring right now. That's not gonna work. I mean, the best I can do is do this. which plays that 4. He plays that 4. He plays that 1, and Glorfindel gets all of the red guys. Problem is, rings still haven't been broken. And I've got 3 hands to get all of the rings to Frodo, and that can't happen. Because 3 of them are in Glorfindel's hands. Because the best I can do is this. 8, 7, 1, and 4, and he takes that away. And now he has to lead a ring, but it's not going to matter. Because it doesn't matter. Even if he leads 5, he gets the 3, he's got the 3. He plays the 1, which can win that, because 1 takes anything. But that's only 3 rings, and there's no way for him. Oh wait, yes there is. We did it. He plays the 5, he doesn't have a hill. He plays the 7, he plays the 8, none of them are suited, and Frodo takes the 4th ring. Bill only has 1 trick. We did it. We did it. That is amazing. That is amazing. Okay, so then what we're going to do is I have to reset everything. I'm going to remove Bill, Sam, and Frodo from the game over here. Let me reset everything else, putting out the characters that we have left. One ring stays out, everything else gets reset, and let's see what we can do. All right, cards are shuffled, starting one hand with the 1 ring. There's my lost card, and then I deal out my hands. And I need to, if I want to complete this in 2 rounds total, we are going to use these 4 characters. Glorfindel again needs all of the shadows. Pippin can exchange or be exchanged with and needs to win the fewest tricks. Strider needs to win more or fewer tricks than the value of threat card he draws. And Merry needs to win 1 or 2 tricks and can't win 8s. I think what I want to do is Glorfindel's going to go here because that's going to help. The 1 ring is going to help him get his shadows. And I can have him win as many things as I need them to, because the other guys are much more restricted this time. Then, this is the super weak hand. I want to, no exchange, win the fewest here. Then, Strider or Merry? Merry has to win 1 or 2. Strider could win less or more. As long as they don't draw a 1, less is possible. The problem is Pippin has to tie or be less than. I'm going to put Strider here and we'll see what happens. No. I'm going to try and make people lose. Yeah, Strider goes there. Merry goes here. Has to win 1 or 2. No. Merry goes here. As expected, Strider goes there. Which means Glorfindel takes that card and now exchanges with everyone but Pippin, because Pippin's event card says they can't be exchanged with. So I want to, I don't care about rings. Let me exchange them the 4 ring for this 5. And then exchange the 1 for this 4 hills. Pippin doesn't get exchanged with. Then Strider draws a threat card. And he gets a 4. There's no way he's winning more than 4. So we're going to say less than 4 for Strider. Pippin wins 0 or 1 at the most because, again, tie is okay. Mary wins 1 or 2. All right, so Glorfindel's going to start by doing that. Then let's get rid of this hill. No. Let's keep a hill. Let's get rid of this forest 4. We'll get this 2 and this 1 because they have to match the shadows. Glorfindel has 3 shadows. Okay. Playing cards. Ooh, okay. Then again, Glorfindel plays this 4. Strider will lose this 5. Pippin has to play the 3. Mary will play this 5. No. Yes, this 5. So 2 more shadows for Glorfindel. More cards. 6, 5, 8, 5 ring. Okay, that's great. But let me keep track of how many shadows so far. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shadows. Okay, so there's 5 shadows played already. I'm going to keep them separate so I can look at them when I need to and remember how many tricks have been won this way. Strider needs to win 1. Pippin doesn't need to win anything. Mary needs to win 1. All right, so I'm gonna play this 8. No, let's let Mary win now. I'll play this 3. Strider plays the 2. Pippin loses his biggest card. And Mary wins right now. That worked. Like it. All right, then more cards. I don't know where that other shadow is, but that's okay right now. Mary's leading. They're going to play the 6 of shadows. Because Glorfindel then will play the 1. Strider doesn't need to win, but I don't care if they do. So they're going to play the 2 of mountains. Pippin gets rid of a big card, and I am going to make that the winner. So we've got 1 more trick won by Glorfindel and 1 more shadow card, and that means rings have been activated. And that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shadows. So there's 2 more that I need to win. Let's see what we got. 6 mountain, 1 forest. There's an 8 shadow, and a 3 mountain. I need to get rid of some of the stuff that Strider has. I will play that 8 hill, 7 hill. They don't have any hills, we'll get rid of their highest card. Same thing for Mary at this point. Doesn't matter if they win because they've already won. So we'll do that. Glorfindel wins again. Beautiful. No hills, yay. We did it. Glorfindel plays that 4. Shadow 8. Forest 8. Shadow 7. They're all off suit, so Glorfindel takes that, which means that they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All shadows are there. They're done. Yeah. we're good. Glorfindel plays the 5 ring. Strider plays the 4 ring. Pippin plays whatever. Merry must play the 2 ring. Glorfindel wins again. 2 more hands. 3 there, 7 there, 1 there, 6 there. The 7 takes it. The last hand like this, doesn't matter which one I play. Strider takes it, which means Glorfindel has all 8 shadows. Strider won 2, which is less than 4. Pippin has won nothing, which is the least amount, and Merry has won 1, which is 1 or 2. And I actually cleared Chapter 9 despite a couple of false starts and 1 loss on camera, but that is that. And that is all I'm going to show you because I want to spoil anything else from this game. Basically, everything you've seen on the screen is all that I want to show you without ruining any more stuff. Quality of the game. Let's start first with the artwork. I love the design of everything here. It all kind of looks stained glass-ish. Very, very beautiful illustrations. Let me show you the cards up close, the different suits. We've got the shadow suit over here, which is all in this guy's hand. Very beautiful sort of Mount Doom look. The ring looks like a stained glass window. Here we've got the forest suit, the hills suit, and the mountain suit. Everything looks really pretty. All of the different characters, again, they've all got this sort of stained glass look. Everything is sort of cut out with hard black edges. I love the way that the characters look in here. The design of these cards is gorgeous. The different suits, the different card backs, well, the backs for the ring cards, really, really beautiful design for everything. But while I'm talking about component quality, I think you can already see on the camera, these cards are getting a little bit scuffed up already, and there's no white borders on them, so they are getting quite scuffed. I haven't sleeved these cards. I don't generally sleeve my cards, but for this game, I think I'm going to have to sleeve them. You can see they're kind of curling a little bit. The quality of them is a little bit thinner, a little bit flimsier than I would like. As you can see, the edges are already starting to show wear, which is a little bit of a problem for a game like this, where cards could become marked and you could understand what cards are simply by looking at them. So it is a little bit upsetting that the quality is so low, especially when you get these lovely wooden little tokens. You've got this really nice chunky sort of leader token, ring token, and more importantly, most importantly, I'm going to show you this right now without spoiling too much. First off, here is, whoops, an upside down cover of the box. Super beautiful sort of foil printing on it. Really, really heavy duty, very sturdy, really nice box. And I've got to be careful here how I show this to you, but the insert for the box also really great. Split into part 1 and part 2 based on chapter 1 to 11 and then 12 to 18. Really nice box. Each of these holes has these sort of velveteen kind of ribbons on them, so you can put cards in there and then later on pull that ribbon to get those cards out. The box design is gorgeous. The artwork design is gorgeous. Everything here is very sturdy, very well designed. This introduction of these, or the inclusion of these really nice, beautiful green ribbons in the box. Really, really, really nice. And I don't understand why so much effort goes into the design of the artwork and this design of this very nice, sturdy, beautiful looking box. But the card quality on a game that is a card game where everything is based on cards and relies on the quality of the cards, for the cards to be a little bit less than wonderful makes me somewhat sad. Granted, the price tag on the game is fairly low, and if the cards do get messed up, you could replace the game without spending too much money. I'd still rather not have so much waste in the game. Again, I love everything, but the quality of the cards just is a bit disappointing. I also should point out here, these are nice to have. This player reference card teaches you sort of little bits of the, reminds you of little bits of the rules, reminds you the values of each of the different suits. Over here gives you, again, some more keywords and so on that you need to understand to play the game. Very nice reference cards to have. It's basically all I can say about the components. Meet me back up top and I'll let you know what I think about the game itself. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed those playthroughs, and I hope that they give you a good overview of how this game plays and sort of how the chapters change things up along the way. I'm just going to come out right up front here and say it to you this time. I love this game, but let's sort of give a sort of history of who I am in relation to this game and why I enjoy this game as much as I do. This, at its core, as I've said already, is a trick-taking game. And I am someone who, when I was younger, sort of high school and mostly college, I played a ton of Hearts on my computer, sometimes online, sometimes at home with my family, and I was really, really into it. And then for the longest time, I hadn't played any trick-taking games at all. And I can't remember exactly which one was first, but I covered For Northwood on this channel and really sort of enamored by this concept of trick-taking, getting back into the world of trick-taking. After that, I played through the entire underwater version of The Crew on BGA and had a blast doing that. I've since covered the solo mode of Power Vacuum, which was a really unique trick-taking game that was also soloable. I have picked up and still want to bring to this channel at some point a sort of book-based choose your own adventure, somewhat legacy-style solo-only trick-taking game called Trick Pages from Japan. I also picked up Rebel Princess from Bezier Games to introduce to my after-school board gaming class and have a blast with the sort of reimagined version of Hearts. All of that to say, I am definitely big time back into the trick-taking world, and I am very, very excited to see so many of these trick-taking games coming out with solo modes or being soloable in some shape or form. So when I heard that this game was going to have a solo mode, and it was going to sort of be a cooperative trick-taker game a la The Crew, which I did enjoy quite a bit, but now be able to be played from anywhere from solo to 4 players with all kinds of different variants based on the different player counts, I was very excited, most particularly obviously because of the solo mode, having this be a solo channel, as you know. So I was very excited, and boy am I glad that I tried this out, because yes, this game absolutely works as a solo game. Before I get into my review though, I have now played this game at solo, 2-player, and 3-player. I haven't played 4, but both 3 and 4-player basically play the same way with just 3 characters instead of 4 characters and slightly tweaked differences. But in the solo game, which I'm about to talk a whole lot about, things change quite a bit, but also in the 2-player game, there's this very unique sort of pyramid of cards with a sort of 3rd-player dummy player that one of the 2 players also takes care of. And I have to say that at 1, 2, and 3, and I'd imagine 4, because 4 and 3 should be similar, this game plays wonderfully. I've played through the entire campaign solo. I've played through about 4 chapters with 3-player, and I think about 6 chapters 2-player, and so far I haven't had a bad experience. I am loving every minute with this game, but let's go ahead and talk about what this game does, focusing specifically on the solo mode for this solo-focused channel. So in the solo mode of this game, or in general, I'm playing with 4 characters, and each character is going to get a hand of cards. And as I mentioned up top in the introduction, the point is that in each chapter, those players, or those hands in the case of the solo mode, will each be assigned a character. And then each character has a unique goal that must be fulfilled by the end of the game. And some of those goals are sort of instant trigger kind of goals, sort of winning a specific kind of card in a trick, winning a specific set of cards in a trick or over several tricks, winning specific valued cards, and so on. But then there are also goals that are saying win the most tricks, the least tricks, this many or more tricks, no tricks at all. Lots of different kinds of goals, and each of them is unique and interesting in their own right, but really where this game shines is the combination of these goals. I have one that this guy needs this card, and this guy needs this card, and they both need some other card or some other type of card, and I've got this guy who needs to win a lot of tricks and this guy who needs to win fewer tricks, and how I manage to sort of work all of those things together, making sure that in the process of fulfilling one goal, I'm not accidentally destroying the ability to complete another character's goal at the same time, and trying to sort of both strategically and tactically, specifically in the solo mode, figure out how to make the cards that I have play out in the way that I want them to, really, really does make for a very interesting puzzle. And let me talk first just briefly in the multiplayer game. Obviously, everybody has a hand of cards that nobody else can see. So you're sort of trying to play out cards and trying to sort of read the mind of your teammates to try and play out cards in the right order so that different people can lead tricks at different times, so that everybody can sort of win the cards they need to or not win the tricks that they don't want to, and so on. And in the solo mode, I don't have any teammates, but we are playing with 4 characters, and it's really a very unique way that it plays out here, because in the solo mode, the 4 hands each start with 4 cards, and the rest of the cards are going to be in the deck. And then every time we play out a trick, we're going to add 1 additional card to each hand. So what that means is I have some limited information about what's possible with the hands in the current state that they are, but I don't have any information about what's going to come next into those hands, which is where I bring in that sort of strategy and tactics-based gameplay. I have to have a long-term strategy about how I'm going to hit all 4 of the goals that I'm trying to complete at once. But then at the same time, tactically, every time I see a new set of cards played into those hands, I have to think about how does that play into the strategy that I'm sort of overall working towards by the end of the game. And it really makes for a whole lot of fun. The different kinds of rules, the different ways that at the beginning of every chapter, some characters are going to swap cards with other characters. Sometimes you're going to draw these threat cards that give you specific values to whatever the goal is that you're working towards. So yes, every time I'm playing the same kind of trick-taking game, yes, it's still a trick-taking game, but every single time I've played this game, even when I'm playing the same chapter more than once, because of the different characters I'm playing, because of the different order, the way that the cards come out, because of the different kinds of rules and twists, I'm not going to mention any of those here, I don't want to spoil any of the surprises, but the different ways that the game changes things up along the way, this game continues to feel fresh even after I've played everything because of the different combinations and so on. I should also mention one neat twist in this game is the way that the suits work. So there are 4 main suits: hills, mountains, shadows, and forests. And then there's also the ring suit. The 4 main suits have 1 to 8 value. The rings only have 1 to 5. And generally when Frodo is in the game, which is most of the chapters, Frodo has to win a set of rings. And in the solo game, that's 4 out of the 5 rings, which is a very strict sort of goal because there are, again, only 5 rings, and 4 of them have to go to a single character, which is kind of tricky to do. And that's sort of an overarching goal that sort of travels with you from chapter to chapter. But the cool thing that makes the game a little bit unique, but also makes that goal a little bit more achievable, is that the 1 ring, the 1 of rings card, or the ring suit 1 value card, is an optional trump. Now this might be something that exists in other trick-taking games. I haven't played a ton of them, mostly because I play most of my games solo these days, and there aren't a whole lot of solo trick-taking games, although there are more coming, yay. But this 1 of ring cards is sort of an optional trump, and what that means is it still needs to be played following the normal rules of the games, meaning if I have a card that matches the suit lead, I have to play the lead suit if I have that in my hand. But if I don't, I can play anything as normal. But if I play that 1 of rings, either matching suit or off suit, I can choose to make that card the trump. And by trump, I mean I can have that card be better than any other card played automatically and automatically win that trick. So I still have to pay somewhat of attention to how I can get that card to get played out, because I can't just play it out. But I have the ability to play that out and instantly win the trick. That said, if I know that I don't want to win the trick, I can also play that as a 1 of rings, off suit to lose, or below another ring to lose as well. And having the ability to sort of turn on or off a trump is a very interesting and unique thing to happen in this game, and I was very, very excited to see that. Plus, there's the extra added wrinkle for that ring suit, similar to what you see in the game Hearts. So in the game Hearts, you're not allowed to lead a heart until a heart has been introduced off suit on a different turn. The same thing here is true with the rings. So I can't play a ring as my starting card. For example, Frodo starts with the one ring. I can't start the game by playing that one ring because I can't play any ring cards as a lead card until somebody else has played a ring, or Frodo himself has played a ring as an offsuit follow card in a different trick. And then once that happens, you can then lead rings. So that sort of timing of how rings is played also sort of adds an extra wrinkle, adds an extra level to this game. I don't know what else I can say except that I really enjoy the core base trick-taking thing because I am a fan of trick-taking games as I continue to discover as I play more and more and more of these games. I love the way that each character has a different focus, but all of them have to work together to get the thing done. I love how each chapter adds in new cards, new abilities, new events that twist up the rules, all kinds of different stuff that gets added in, and each chapter does feel unique. Even when you're playing the same core gameplay loop, the differences in rules, the differences in goals, and so on makes this game feel very unique every time you play the game, and I continue to enjoy myself, again, at every player count. Playing with the pyramid at 2 players was another unique experience because when you play with this pyramid, you can only play the cards that are sort of uncovered at any time. The cards are sort of stacked on top of each other. If you've ever played Seven Wonders, Duel, that same kind of stacked pyramid. And several of the cards in the middle you can see but not play until later. So you have some information about what's coming later, but at the beginning you only know the 4 cards at the bottom of the pyramid. And then as you play, things get revealed and things get usable. It just adds another wrinkle that makes the game fun. At 3 and 4 players, it becomes more traditional trick taker, but then you've got more hands of cards that you don't have any information about. Really, really, really cool experience. Now, talking about the player counts, talking about solo, if I was going to say anything negative about solo, there are a couple of times throughout the game where events happen or specific cards get used to do specific sort of rules changes in some of the chapters, particularly the later half of the game, that simply can't work in solo because a lot of the cards interact with the way that cards are hidden or not hidden. And unfortunately, because the way solo works, that hiding and not hiding doesn't really work because the solo player needs to see or not see specific things in order for the game to work. So there are a couple of steps, there are a couple of chapters along the way that you sort of get a half experience because you can't play with all of the twists and changes, but it doesn't really make the game feel worse. It just means that I want to play multiplayer now so I can figure out or see how that game changes up when I do get to use those different kinds of twists. So that makes me more excited to get the game played more than it does frustrates me that it doesn't work in solo because certain things work in certain counts. So for example, some of the chapters only have 4 characters available. Well, in solo I have to play with all 4, so I don't get to choose which characters I play with. Whereas if I was playing a three-player game, I could choose which of those 4 characters, or which 3 of those 4 characters I wanted to use. Of course, always using the starred characters. But vice versa, when we get into the longer games and I have more selections, then I have to think about how these groups change. And actually having a group of 4 versus having a group of 3 makes that puzzle of how those goals interact even more interesting. So realistically, instead of saying that the game is lesser as a solo experience or lesser in some ways as a 3-player experience and so on. Really what I want to say is this game has strengths in all different player counts and it really pushes you to try the game with all different player counts. I am very happy just playing this game solo, but I know having loved this game as much as I have and continuing to introduce it to people who also seem to love this game as much as I do, I'm excited to get this played at all player counts. I'm excited to get it back to the table solo. I should point out at the end of all 18 chapters, there are a couple of extra cards that get revealed, and there is a sort of endless mode that gets added to the game where it does have you remove a few cards from the game, but everything else sort of gets mixed together and you pull a random set of every different kind of card, and you can sort of play a makeshift chapter with a randomized set of cards. So this game has life even after you've played through the campaign. And seeing as how this is based off of the first of 3 books with potentially a Silmarillion and appendices and whatever else, I can see this game continue to expand and add chapters and what have you moving forward so long as it continues getting the love that it's getting right now. And I can't imagine that's going to change because lots of people really seem to be enjoying this game. Anyway, I don't know what else I could say about this game except thumbs up, and lots more thumbs up. I am enjoying this game a lot. If you are a fan of trick-taking games, granted you have to be a fan of cooperative games, and I know not everybody is, but on a solo channel like you're watching right now, I'd imagine if you're here, you probably like solo, you probably like cooperative, and I would strongly recommend this at all player counts, even specifically solo only. Big thumbs up for me. That's basically all I have to say. I hope that this video was helpful for you. As always, if it was, I do ask that you remember to like, subscribe, and click the bell icon below, and I'll see you all next time. Thanks.